Hello and welcome to Swell Season Surf Radio. I am your host, Tyler Brewer. My co-host, Ben Pomeroy, is away on a honeymoon. He just got married on Block Island. His wedding was the day of all days for waves, Hurricane Dorian. And unfortunately, the ferries canceled by the time I got to the ferries, and I couldn't make it to the wedding. So anyway, Ben, wishing you a happy wedding on this show. Doing it alone here, and we have an awesome guest. I'm really excited. The Wazzle's in town, and my guest is Troy Mothershead. He is a director of planning and business development at True Ames Fins, which I have a bunch of their fins. They're very good. I highly recommend them. He's also a brand ambassador for 9+ wetsuits. And he's here in New York competing in the WSL Longboard competition, the New York Longboard Championships. Is that the name, Troy?
Maybe the New York Longboard Classic?
New York Longboard Classic?
Yeah.
Troy, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm stoked. It's good to be here.
No worries. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Big fan of your surfing.
Cheers.
And also a big fan of True Ames Fins and everything that you guys are doing.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So when did you get the invite to come to New York?
Well, yeah, so I guess probably a little while ago now, because it's been planned out for a minute, but back in January, I want to say, Devin Howard sort of gave me the text message that he was going to take the job as the commissioner and wanted to make some changes, or at least just guide it in a different direction than it had been over the last few years. And so I kind of, thought about it. The first contest was in Noosa, which is one of my favorite places to go. So I was on board. And then I saw Spain, and I just kind of knew it was going to be a little bit too much travel with everything else going on, especially considering the duct tape. So I had New York locked and loaded.
Nice.
Also just wanted to come here. It's such an epic place.
Wow, it looks like you guys kind of scored a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we should feel really blessed. It's amazing to get to surf waves like that over here.
It's been one of the worst summers in a long time, and we have not had proper waves over chest high, at least on the west end of Long Island, for like 3 months.
Wow.
So,
well, yeah,
you guys got really lucky.
Sounds like it. I'm sure that anyone else who, does contests consistently would say that it's rare that you get good waves, at least at that level. I mean, right now they're surfing waves that aren't too amazing. Yeah. But right, like to be able to show up and actually have some really proper, perfect waves for a few heats is great.
Had you ever competed in the other WSL longboard events before Devin took over commissionership as a commissioner?
Actually, that was kind of my whole thing as a kid. I was just like looked up to Joel and Colin McPhillips and a lot of those kind of late 90s, early 2000s longboard heroes. Yeah. And so I had qualified at like maybe 17, and I went over to France, and so I think I did it for maybe 4 years or so, and it kind of teetered between one contest in France and a few contests, here and there. And so
it was really sporadic, it felt like.
Yeah, it was sporadic. It was kind of always on the ropes. Oxbow was the title sponsor.
Yeah.
So
you never know. And then, like, the judging was totally different than what it is now, I guess.
Yeah, I think that it was... I mean, if anyone's followed longboarding, you know the back and forth, especially from Joel's side of things. And so it was, they would talk about 50-50. They would talk about 75-25, tail to nose. It was just kind of different. It felt like every year, every contest. I'm a little guy.
Yeah, so, you're not going to be throwing that board around too much.
Yeah, I rode for Bill Stewart. He's one of the best shapers ever. I love Bill.
Love the hydro hull.
Yeah.
It's a classic shape.
Totally. He was amazing to me, still is. He's just such a rad dude. And so But I leveraged the nose. I mean, that was always my thing. Is I was like, well, I'm small, I can hang 10, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And then I'll throw the board around as hard as I can from there. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess I was just really young, and by the time, it just felt like it was kind of too inconsistent and whatever. And I was going to college, and so I went to college. Surfed in a couple more of them, maybe while I was still in school, and then, I kind of went on a journey and just decided to not do contests anymore. Yeah,
let's pull back for a second.
Sure.
And like your career, you start as an up and coming young longboarder, you had the option to be like a proper professional surfer, and that's it. That's all you do, and you kind of chose a different route. So can you walk us through, like, you're 17, 18, and did you have that choice in front of you? Was it like, I'm going to be a pro surfer? I don't know, this looks sketchy.
I mean, I think at that point it was, I was on the back end of it. I think that Joel and Colin and a few other guys, Bonga Perkins or whoever, maybe had, legitimate. I mean,
Bo Young,
totally.
Yeah,
they had legitimate careers out of it, and I think by the time myself and a few other guys started showing up, it was just like we were putting stickers on our boards, but we probably weren't ever gonna truly make money doing it.
What year was this around? This would be like early 2000s?
Yeah, probably like 2005, 6, 7, and then, kind of kept moving from there. But yeah, it was just too rocky. Like Longboard Magazine,
folded.
There was tons of contests even through them, lots of things going on, and they folded, and so it didn't really feel like I had a choice. I could have probably, pushed through it, but I don't know. I did pretty well in school, and my parents were like, hey, this is really fun, but you can kind of do both. I mean, you're only trying to surf in, one world contest a year. Like, I'm sure, so I actually ended up through school. Like, I took finals early one year to get out to France and stuff. So, I kind of was able to to do both. And then I think just through school and opening up to new things, I realized, like, I'm not going to pursue surfing as like a professional. Just, I don't know. It seemed really natural to do what I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you went the way that most of us go.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I mean, and then you did accounting. Like, it wasn't like, I'm going to be an artist and creative. Like, you went the full business route, actually.
Yeah, there's probably, I could go into a big backstory there, but it's not worth it. I just decided that, like, it made sense.
Inquiring listeners want to know the backstory, actually. That's what we're about. We're all about, like, the nitty-gritty here.
Okay, well, I think that my dad was kind of did sales in corporate America, and my dad is amazing. I love him to death. Most supportive dude ever.
Yeah.
But I think I just kind of was like, I don't know if I want to wear a suit and tie and like do that thing. And so my understanding, I think, of business in the front end was like, sales is that, and I don't want to do that. And so I don't know. I took accounting classes and I was like, this makes sense. Like, I see the puzzle fitting.
Yeah.
And my brain's pretty analytical. So I went in that direction. I actually ping-ponged like 6 different times, and I ended up just finishing with a business degree.
Yeah.
But that whole accounting journey led me to an internship at Patagonia. And
I bet it wasn't that competitive for the internship in accounting. Everything was more in like production, design, and all that. You're like, sweet.
I think that accounting was stoked to have somebody who fit more of the mold of the company. Not that there weren't people in accounting. Surprisingly, there's amazing people in accounting.
Absolutely.
But as a young kid, they're like, what? This surfer guy wants to be in accounting? Yeah, sure. I mean, truthfully, we had a really awesome family friend that was the controller, and so she really helped me out and, gave me an opportunity, and I just kind of, I went for it.
That's awesome, though. And then you spent, 6 years at Patagonia, or?
Yeah, 6 years. I kind of a year and a half in, I ended up moving into the planning department. So I left what I found out to be pretty dry accounting world, and it was so good though. I learned so much.
Yeah,
and that led me into a really fun part of the business. But
and planning, like, what is that? Like, you were planning out the buys for product. So were you going to China or wherever they have their stuff produced and things like that as well, or just working on numbers and looking at sales reports and trying to analyze what is going to be coming in the next year?
Yeah, exactly. I was on the demand side of the planning team, so we were doing sales forecasting, and it was fun. Like, you're actually working with the product team, you're looking at marketing, you're in numbers. I really
busting the
enjoyed it.
chops of all the sales reps. Why are the numbers down for this puffy jacket in New York? You should be doing great.
Yeah, for sure. I ended up being on the e-com end, so we were kind of exploring a little bit of new territory. Like, Patagonia had kind of just lifted the veil a little bit on growth, and so it was actually a really fun time to I got to see a lot of different things, and we started doing making different decisions that weren't there before. So I learned a ton, and I ended up actually taking another job where I was buying the outside vendor product stuff.
Oh, really?
Stuff that was so I actually was buying surf stuff, right? I was, facilitating the FCD boards into stores and different things like that. So
that's crazy.
I got a little closer to surf. I really had nothing to do with surf before that there, but I did surf a lot during lunch break.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have the bikes there for you, right? Like, Fat Tire Beer donated a bunch of bikes to Patagonia, and then you can just ride on down like a 5-10 minute bike ride to the beach.
Not even. I mean, you could almost chuck a rock to C Street from where Patagonia is. So yeah, it was special. There were days, where it was pumping, and I surfed 3 times in the day. Yeah, that is real. That part of Patagonia, I mean, all of Patagonia, everything you hear is totally on point. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, they have that HQ is amazing. I had applied for a job there, and like a managing job there. Their ocean stores that they were just opening up. Cool. And it's like 2006, and they flew me, or I didn't. I flew out to interview there and like got the full tour, and I mean, dude, you guys got endangered owls. Like, you have someone whose job it is just to take care of the owls that are there. That's crazy. That is not the job I would want. It stank. It was so smelly, I remember. But, like, amazing. And just, like, walking around, it's like almost Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory-esque in some ways.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Oh, what is this? Oh, yeah, that's our new wetsuit we're kind of working on. At the time, it was like just when they were coming out with the Patagonia wetsuits. And I was like, oh, my God. They're like, yeah, it's made of wool. And you're like, what? Mind blown.
Totally. There are some really special things going on at the place. Yeah, they have like the forge, which is where they literally develop the majority of, the new things. And there were some amazing people with very awesome ideas, like going for it, and people who like would build and produce product or whatever and use it. Like, there was guys who climbed El Cap and also were the ones designing or coming up with the newest material. So it's pretty impressive. It was an inspiring place to be, for sure. That's
awesome. And then from there you moved to True Ames Fins, and how did that come about?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I loved working in Patagonia, and it was amazing, but I just was I was young, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to. Patagonia is one of those places you could probably work there for a long time. Yeah, if you have a good rapport.
Be like Chip,
Yeah, totally. Chipper Bro's been there. He actually retired recently, which is pretty impressive. Yeah.
Who could fill that man's shoes?
Yeah, I don't think they tried.
For all our listeners, Chip was like the guy who answered the phone and was like the model customer service guy, and also a world champion Frisbee throw tosser or player.